Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another great edition of my Grue Rume Show. For the Grue Rume Show today, I got a very awesome guest. He's a filmmaker, Roger Connors, and we're going to be talking about this horror movie he's doing called Meat and Hollow Lake as well. And I'm happy to have him on for Grue's Pride Month. I am Rocco Cross. I am the host at Stutters. I am the host of the Grue Rume Show. My interview with Roger be coming up very soon. This is my Grue Rume, and as always, my gruelings. Welcome to my nightmare, so stay tuned. All right, buddy. Welcome to Grue, and thank you so much for being my guest and coming on.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to jump into the pool and have some fun with you.
Definitely, yes. Is it a blood pool though?
I mean, lately it sure freaking seems like it. So yeah, I guess so. But hey, I could roll with it.
There you go. Yeah. And I see you do like a little bit of everything. Like you act, you produce, you write, you make films. And how did that all get started for you?
Yeah, I've been working in indie films since right before I turned 20. I remember joining my first production, and I started young, and I was looking for, I think, a good distraction at that point. Um, and it fit the bill, and it kind of was the perfect culmination of all my passions. I grew up doing theater, and so I had a really deep love for cinema, specifically horror cinema. Like I grew up really infatuated with it, and it kind of defined my childhood from a young age. So I always had this fascination with it, and stage work just wasn't really scratching the itch for me because I never got the chance to really delve into my genre of choice, if you will. I was always in productions of Bye Bye Birdie. It wasn't working. And so yes, luckily Cleveland is a really amazing independent film scene. And
Mhm.
that's really where I had my first exposure to ever being on a film set. But I kept doing it. I just didn't stop. I mean, ever since that point moving forward, I've always been in some way, shape, or form working with a film production. And it's really become a defining aspect of my life.
Damn, okay, okay. And what about the horror world do you love? Like, what draws you to like horror films and the whole like horror world, horror cons and everything? Like,
I think a lot of it for me is like the strong characters, a lot of the resilient characters that as a youth, I turned to a lot of these characters, these scream queens, if you will. It was
hmm
really defining for me. And I think that, we all take something different away from the genre, but for me, I think a lot of these stories of good rising up in the face of evil in a way it's empowering. And even in the goriest horror movie, I think that there are elements of empowerment to be taken from those films. And I love it when a horror film can really strike a chord with people because at times it's often very unassuming. So I've always seen the power in horror and the potential to even get political, and so that's something that
hmm
I think for me as a filmmaker, I really enjoy that. And I like playing with those themes with my own cinema.
Nice, nice. What are like some when you were growing up and fascinated with the world of horror? Like, what are some of the early horror films that you were watching when you were younger?
First film I ever saw in the within the genre was I was 7 years old, and I convinced my grandfather to let me watch his VHS tape of Night of the Living Dead, Romero's Night of the
Oh,
Living Dead.
yeah, yeah.
And he let me watch it, and I made it almost all the way through the film until like the final siege, and it scared me so bad. I was honestly traumatized by it for years. Like it had
Oh
an
my
effect
God.
on me, and it was like literally probably like 5 years of like drawing images of people getting torn apart by zombies, and speaking to the priest at my church, and then finally I was able to kind of take control of that fear and develop it into what is now an infatuation. But that was the film that set it off for me.
All right, okay, okay. And I mean, we are going to talk about meat, but before we talk about meat, I want to talk about another horror film that you're working on as well, Hollow Lake.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing that up. I'm lucky enough to be acting in a film that is being directed by my podcast co-host Troy Escamilla, who is my co-host over at Dark Knight the podcast. But I worked with him on Teacher Shortage, and then I've been lucky enough to be involved with this film too, which we shot here in the Cleveland area, which is where I'm based out of.
Nice. So what's Hollow Lake like for anyone who doesn't like know or anything? And like, is Hollow Lake coming out first or is Meat coming out first?
So Hollow Lake is still in editing. Meat just recently premiered, and Hollow Lake is still in editing. But I'm thinking probably another 6 months or so, and you'll see something from it. Um, so Meat is definitely going to be seeing release before Hollow Lake, but we filmed that technically more recently. It's a smaller project. Hollow Lake's a little bit more intimate, and it's the same team. It's the same cinematographer as Meat, same assistant director, Zach Schildwachter and Mick Coons worked on both films. And so I'm really excited to see what comes from it because I convinced Troy to come here. Troy's based out of Las Vegas, and I was like, listen,
Oh wow.
you need that Midwest vibe for this film because Hollow Lake is very much set in more of a rural area. And I was like, it's going to work here. And so luckily I got him to come here and work with my team. So I'm really excited about that.
Oh, that's awesome. Nice, nice.
Thank you.
And you're actually one of the stars for the film. Like you're one of the leads for Hollow Lake, and you produce it too, right?
Yeah. So I'm lucky enough to have a pretty big role in Hollow Lake. I've been acting longer than anything, so I feel like that's kind of my fallback. But this is just a really great script. I really enjoy it. It is, it's queer horror, and that's really kind of where my niche, if we're going to say anything, like I tend to fall within that niche of queer horror, though I do like just all genres of horror or just all genres of cinema in general. Let's be real. But both of these films tend to fall within that more obscure niche. But it's really cool because there's been a huge uptick in queer filmmakers, especially in the last few years, starting to just tell their stories more and being more liberated with it. And so, Meat and Hollow Lake are two very different films. They fall within that same subgenre, but they're very different films. And I'm excited to see how the fan base responds to either of them because tonally they're just so different.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, you could see it with like different stills and stuff. Yeah, and I'm really happy to see like the past couple years, like queer horror has been actually like getting bigger than what it was, and like in like the 80s and stuff like that. If
Mhm.
you made like a queer themed horror film, you would have to like hide it just like they did with Freddy with this second one. Like it's definitely a queer horror film, but they had to hide the fact that it was a queer horror film.
Very much so, and I'm not sure. I'm sure you've had to have seen it, but that amazing documentary, Scream Queen, My Nightmare on
Yeah,
Elm
with Mark
Street, about
Patton.
Mark Patton. I had the
Yeah.
privilege of seeing that here in Cleveland when it was in the Cleveland International Film Festival, and then I ended up meeting Mark Patton at several film festivals separately. I run with a lot of the similar circles who are connected with that documentary, and when I saw that documentary, I just went in as a fan and nothing more, and it blew my mind. I think the story behind that, and the pain that he went through as an
Hmm.
actor, what they subjected him to, and all he wanted to do was act, and it was really a horrible experience for him. It's disheartening. So now I think making films like that without any limitations or barriers is very empowering because there's no reason for us to hide our stories anymore.
Exactly. Exactly. And there's been quite a few like queer horror films that are made. Like, are there any that stand out most to you? Like, is there any queer themed horror films that you watched and liked?
Yeah, I absolutely adore the monster makeup team based out of Rhode Island. They did Death Rock Gorgeous, which I really
Oh, that
think
was a
is
good
just
one. I like that.
phenomenal. And I had been sitting on my script for Meat for years was scared that nobody was going to take me seriously as a queer filmmaker wanting to tell such an aggressively queer story. And I will say, like, when I started seeing them follow through with their production and actually get it done, that was really empowering for me. And they went on to make a film after that called Saint Drogo that I thought was phenomenal, really, really wonderful. But there's a lot of queer filmmakers who I really love working alongside. Brian Dorton is another one who is
Mhm.
based out of Kentucky. And of course, Troy, who did Teacher Shortage, and now Hollow Lake is his first truly queer film as well. So there's so many to celebrate. Chris Moore, I worked with him recently in Mississippi. He did When the Trash Man Knocks, and then I recently worked on a film
Oh,
with him
I don't know if I
called
heard that one.
It's Great. He is fantastic, and he has a whole I think like list of like I think it's like he's done like 7 or 8 films at this point. So there's a lot of titles worth checking out. There's a really long resume, but specifically you can see the evolution in his work. And so I just recently worked with him on a film that was a really wonderful experience as well. And I was so wanting to collaborate with yet another queer filmmaker and provided a really great experience for me. It was wonderful.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And now on to Meat. Like, what inspired you to write and make Meat?
Yeah, I grew up loving the horror genre in general, but I really was infatuated with slashers as a teen, and so
Oh,
for me,
same, same.
yeah, and there's a formula to a slasher, and you gotta do it right. And if you do it right, then the fans are diehard. They're looking for a certain something, and that's often consists of great chase scenes and amazing kills and dynamic characters, and I've seen that in so many different formats, so many different takes on that same formula, but none of them were ever truly queer, aside from a few here and there, like Hellbent. I'm sure you've heard of Hellbent.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
yeah,
I love that movie. It's yeah, it's a great movie.
and it's a great slasher. Like, take out the queer aspect, and it still does its job as a slasher. But I really was
Hmm.
like, you know what? I want to see one that leans all in and just gives that high body count, extreme gore, all the things that you expect, but also like delves into the queer community and not just the white gay community. I just have to say that specifically. Like, I'm a white gay man, but I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio, which is a melting pot, and the queer community I'm used to is is a mix of all shapes and sizes and colors and identities
Hmm.
and all of those things. And I wanted to see all of those stories being told in one of these films as well. And I just feel like we've never gotten that. We've never really gotten an authentically queer slasher that includes all colors of the rainbow. So that was my goal with Meat, is to balance both the queer community and every aspect that makes it so special, and also balance a truly violent, gnarly slasher that a random straight boy might waddle in and sit down and watch the movie and be like, whoa, this is super gay, but it's still badass.
Yeah,
That was my
that
goal.
right.
Yeah.
Walking in and seeing someone get like gutted and slashed and blood across the screen, and they'll be like, "Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. I want a film that like everyone can roll with, as long as you're chill, like, as long as you can roll with queer people, then this movie, if you're a horror fan and you're cool with that, then this movie's going to serve, it's going to check all the boxes for everything you want from a slasher as well. It's just going to do it in a very queer manner.
yeah." Nah, like I definitely want to see this movie. Like I seen the trailer and the clips and all that you've been posting and the stills, and it looks definitely like something I want to see. Like you were saying, it has a little bit of everything in it, and it's a slasher, and you definitely have like the men in the film that look good without their shirts on, and it kind of looks like the room that they're in, like the red light room, kind of looks like a bathhouse environment.
We filmed in a bathhouse. Cleveland has one of the largest bathhouses in the Midwest. We have Flex, and we were very lucky to use that space. But my goal was to show all aspects of the queer lifestyle, the underbelly of the gay scene, the clubs, the gay bars, the grittiness of all of it. And so there is a very elaborate bathhouse chase sequence, which I've always wanted because it just makes sense. Those spaces are terrifying in their own way, and the lighting is great. So you're absolutely right that there is a big bathhouse sequence in this film.
Nice, nice. And what made you choose like the red light? Like, because it definitely looks good when you're watching the clip.
We really played with lighting a lot over the course of the film. Like when there's more intense or sexual or intimate moments, because I mean, the film is called Meat for a reason, and it's not just because people are getting chopped up like meat, but men are being objectified like meat. It's a flipping the standard on the 1980s slasher, Prom Night 2, Mary Lou, the whole bit with
I
the
love
blonde
that.
walking around.
Such a great movie, isn't it?
It's a freaking amazing movie, but like I mean, that
Yeah,
poor blonde gal with her bush out, just waddling around, fully naked, and I'm like, God, they're really objectifying this poor woman. And you never see guys put into those vulnerable situations in horror movies.
exactly.
So that's really where the title came from. And so there is like a lot of nudity. I mean, like when you say guys taking their shirts off, and all of these sequences have a lot of sexuality, we wanted the lighting to balance that. And so there is a lot of intense saturation, and we do play with a lot of really bold lighting styles that of course take a ton of inspiration from the films that came before, the Argentos and all of that. There's so much room for color palettes in these films to tell a color story just with lighting alone, and we definitely played with that in me.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. And the killer, the slasher in this movie, I love the look, like the mask and the outfit, and he has like little spikes on him and stuff. And what made you decide on that look?
Yeah, so his name is the Stud. So I knew that I wanted him to be a stud, but I also wanted him to be intimidating. And the thing is, like, when you do lean into the sex factor of all of this, the sexuality of all of it, it's really easy for the fear factor to lessen. And I didn't want that to be the case. Like, I wanted the movie to be sexy, but when it has to be scary, it has to hit. And so I wanted him to have a very fitted silhouette, which, and like when you think of a lot of classic slashers, like they're not fitted. They're all very like loose and baggy, big and bulky.
Hmm.
The Michael Myers and the jumpsuits, the Freddy in the big sweater, Jason in the big tattered, overshirt. Like, and so I wanted just something different that felt very streamlined. And so we have this sexy fetish suit because we are leaning into the fetish wear, which I think is terrifying in its own right. When you look at fetish wear, it is scary. It's erotic, but it's scary. And so everything we adorn him with are things that he can injure with. The mask is spiked. Like you get headbutt with that mask, like you're gonna feel it. Like
Oh,
if
I
you
know.
get bashed in the face with that mask, it's going to injure you. He shoulder blows you with a spiked shoulder. He's going to injure you. So he's quick, he's fast, he's slick, and that leathery smoothness. I wanted to depict that in his physicality, but also make sure he's scary as well.
I love it. I love it. And how did you find like the cast for the film, like the actor that plays him and like everyone else?
I mean, when I say that Cleveland has a wonderful film scene, like truly, like there's so much talent here, and I think that a lot of times Cleveland is overlooked, but truthfully, most of my talent comes right from here in Cleveland. I did bring some talent in, like Pandora Box, who was on Drag Race. I brought her in for a great, wonderful
No.
sequence, actually series of sequences. She shot for a couple days with us, and so she has a great role in the film. And then like I also got lucky, like my very good friend Caitlin Newberry, who's currently in the film Devour that's about to come out. She's doing so much work. She just worked with Clint Eastwood. I mean, she's really
Oh,
blowing up. But she is one of my closest friends. I've been working with her for years, and I was just lucky enough to get her in this film. She agreed to do it to help me, and so I'm so lucky to have her name attached. Just overall, it's a lot of just friends coming together to make this possible. And this really is Cleveland at its finest, wanting to just put on a show that can show off exactly what the talent here is capable of doing.
awesome, awesome. And the music, like I saw one of your posts, and you have a list of the songs of Meat, and it looks like it definitely is like the like dance club kind of vibe, right? Is
Yeah.
that the songs that you chose for the songs of Meat?
It varies. I mean, there's a very large aspect of the film that is set within the nightclub lifestyle of the
Hmm.
queer community. And so I wanted to capture that with like the throbbing bass and like there's a lot of like Euro trance in it, because there's a it's great for a chase scene. I'm just gonna say it like there is it is so good to set a chase scene to like a high tempo like trance track. And so like I have a ton of artists that have contributed actual tracks to the film, but my main composer, Joshua Love, he's based out of the Cleveland area here. Wonderful guy, beautiful work. I think the score in the film is really one of the most breathtaking aspects of the film. I really think the score and then the soundtrack as well are going to take people by surprise because I think they come into
Okay.
indies and they expect like the score to be a second, like an afterthought almost, but not here because music's important to
Mm.
me. But then Michael Kohlbecker, who is my sound design engineer, he does the sound effects for the film, but he's a Euro DJ. He's based in Germany. And so I was
Oh,
like, I need you to give me a couple tracks for this film. And I mean, the music in Meat, I think people are going to want the soundtrack really bad because the music is truthfully, I think, one of the most badass parts of what makes this film unique. It has a pulsing, throbbing soundtrack that is full of like just really good songs, better than I think you'd anticipate with an indie of our size.
now will that be for sale like when the movie's out?
Soundtracks are difficult because it is, it's something where I've never really strayed into that territory, but I'll say like already after having had our first screening, that's one of the main things I've been asked is when can the soundtrack be released? And as soon as I know the ins and outs of that, that is a priority for me because I really think the soundtrack is worth being released. But I'm still like very early in the journey with this, so I don't know what to do
Yeah,
about
yeah,
it.
of
So
course.
I have to be honest, like I have never had that request until recently, and I love it.
And the movie just shown, you said you had it shown at one of the movie theaters over there, and I saw the post like the shirts and Meat are completely gone now, right? Like everyone bought a shirt at the showing, the
I
screening.
mean, I think when you go into these things, you don't know what to expect, Like this is the first time I'd ever shown the film to an audience, and I knew that we had something marketable just because that was my goal. Like I wanted something that would be marketable on a larger scale, but I don't think I knew like how well people are going to respond. Like we sold out all of our shirts before the film even was playing. So like
Oh,
we definitely like our work are getting more merchandise made, but I think we thought it was going to go well and it completely outdid our expectations. So which is a fantastic problem to have, but yes, we did sell out of all our merch, which I'm thrilled with, to be honest. So there will be more soon.
and in Meat you played a role of Brody. Can you tell us a little bit about your character, like who Brody is?
Yeah, yeah. I think I knew that, like, my first directorial effort when I was younger was really just like a learning process. And was that actor who's like, I'm going to direct and star at the same time. And after doing it and learning that lesson, I said, never again will I do that because that was a horrible experience. But I love acting. I really wanted to be involved. So I have a smaller, very restrained role in the film, but enough to have an impact. And I mean, he's just a sassy gay bitch. I was like, what can I do easy? So I was like, you know what? Let's bust out a couple one-liners and get it done. I've got a few great scenes with our lead Cody Steele, who plays Noah in Me, and I've he's another actor who I've grown up working with, and I really love sharing the screen with him. So I have a few great moments with him in the film, but nothing too crazy.
Okay.
Yeah.
And like you were saying, like it's difficult to act and direct too. Like it was hard on set at all? Like did you have someone else direct the scenes that you were doing?
I have an amazing AD, Zach Showalter, who
Hmm.
really saved my ass every day. I mean, every single day he was an angel. So, I mean, yeah, especially in those moments, it's so nice to have a team that you have just a natural chemistry with, and know that if you have to step aside and wear a different hat, that it's in safe hands. So anytime we
Hmm.
collaborated, it was never stressful in this film, playing a role in this film, because the vibe was there. The energy was so good. I loved working with the actors. Like when I wasn't directing them and having the chance to act alongside them, we were just so in it that it didn't feel like I was pulling myself out of the moment to have to break my directorial focus to act. If anything, it helped kind of create the moment and make it even more personal.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I love the slogan for the movie. This time he's going in raw. Like that is I like the slogan for the movie is amazing. Like it really is.
I mean, I knew I wanted something a little kind of taboo. I mean, if people, here's my goal is if anyone's gonna give me any beef about making a super queer movie, I don't want to hear anybody going in and complaining about it, because when I promote this film, it is overtly obvious that this is a film that's made with the queer community in mind.
Of course,
So
of
if you're
course.
going in and watching this movie, you have no excuse, unless you're purposely just trying to be hostile and hateful. You have no excuse to be like, "Oh, this is so gay." Like, yes, it is very much so gay, and that has been the goal from the start, my friend. And that's the story I'm telling as a filmmaker. So if you don't like it, there's plenty of other like thunderbolts out there that you can go watch.
Right,
And
right.
find another movie. But this, like, I mean, from the slogan to the poster art to the way I costumed my characters, I really wanted it to make it obvious and pop. So it is clear exactly the kind of film we're trying to make.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And without giving a lot away, I mean, I know that the film just got shown at at the movie theater where you live at, but is there any scene that you had the most fun shooting, and like any scene you could tell us about that you had the most fun shooting?
You know, the production was a joy. My personal goal was that every kill was a centerpiece. Like I didn't want there to be one major kill that felt like it was a toss away. So filming the kills was overstimulating, but in the best possible way. It was such a great energy. There is one specific locker room kill that was just like filming it was so on so many levels shocking because of what we were doing with it, but it was just because of the chemistry, the specific actor that was the focus, the team that we were working with that day. I just think we created something that's going to be extremely memorable. And then there's a dance number, unexpected dance number in the film that my very good friend Nick Lapete, who just turned 40 today, happy birthday, Nick. Um, he has a wonderful moment that is very much a break from like the relentless gore and murder. There's a breath of a moment where he has a very unexpected dance number, and for some reason the audience just couldn't get enough of it, and I was thrilled. So I think that's another moment that was just really fun filming it. And I'm so happy that it was a little moment that really popped for the audience.
Okay, okay. And was it hard to come up with like I mean, I know when you're making a horror movie, like you want to make like really good kills and brutal kills and gory kills and I know it's hard because like there's like a ton of horror movies and tons of kills in every horror film. Like did you have to like really think of like the kills that you wanted for this film?
I really try to stylize each kill around the character. The thing that I think makes me kind of pop a little bit and feel a little bit of its own thing is that because it's so invested in the underbelly of the gay nightlife, there's a heavy element of people of drugging. Of everyone gets drugged with a different party drug before they die,
Hmm.
and so visually, each kill takes on the look and the feel and the sensation of the drug that's being incorporated with the kill. And so that's one thing that makes each major kill feel very different. And so I was trying to think like, for this individual and the drug of choice, like what would be a kill that I think would really lean into that and make it really fun for in post for us to just play with that and make it feel really heightened. And so I don't want to say it was difficult. Like I didn't want to fall into the trope of like, oh, like, because this is a queer slasher, where also each kill has to be kind of like a joke or like a sexual innuendo or something. Like I wanted the kills just to be gnarly freaking kills when they had to happen. Like I want people to die in horribly graphic ways. And so we just kind of went all in, like balls to the wall. Like when people die in this movie, there is an over 15-person head count in this film. And my goal
Oh,
was to make
really?
at least as many of those as possible feel like their own big moment.
Oh, it's so awesome. Like I love a horror movie with like a lot of kill scenes.
Yeah, me too. I wanted to serve it up. Like, I really wanted to make sure, again, that we're living up to the horror, the slasher element of what this is, that we're delivering in that regard across the board.
Nice. And is it hard at the end of the day, like to get all that gore and blood like off of everything, like because then you have to like shoot it again the following day, and
You know, it's like, I mean, I guess that's what you have PAs for. I hate to say that, but like, I was just like, I'm just not going to acknowledge that we're creating all of this destruction. But like, we used one of one of my Airbnbs. My partner has Airbnb, and I needed a location, and so we filmed a very graphic kill in that location, and to this day, the blood is embedded in the tile, and he is so resentful. And I'm just like, the PAs didn't do it. He's like, you can't blame the PAs for that. That's your house. Like, you know exactly where that blood is. You saw it, and you chose to just avoid it. So that blood has haunted me. My partner's never forgiven me. But I was like, this is kind of cool. Like, if the movie is a success, like, I would like throw it in the Airbnb listing and say like, check out the spot where so and so died and meet the movie,
yeah,
and make it part
exactly.
of like the promotion. Like I'm like that's a good thing to have, right?
It is. It is. I 100% agree. Yeah.
Oh, and I love every PA that worked in this film. To be clear, I knew in that case I was like I can't take this blame. I need to blame somebody else, or else my partner's going to kill me. So, oh gosh.
And, when you aren't making films or acting, what do you like doing during your free time?
I mean, I am a film nerd. Like I'm always trying to see cinema in the theater and experience it for my podcast because I co-host Dark Knight of the podcast. So most of my life is focused on cinema. When I'm not doing something movie related, I love live music. You know, I love going to concerts. Um, I don't know. Most of what I do is really revolving around my creative circle at this point. But I have a wonderful circle of friends here in Cleveland, Ohio, and they're all so supportive. So I try to just spend as much of my time, my free time, with them as possible when I'm not working on film sets, which is luckily becoming more and more constant. So I'm not going to complain
Yeah.
about that at all.
Is there any like band or artist that you want to see in 2025?
Well, I've already got tickets to go see Kesha and the Scissor
Oh
Sisters.
yeah. Yeah.
So that's in July. I mean, Chapel Roan has a brand new tour going, so I'm probably going to go to that. I don't know. I'm like someone who like, I don't care what the genre is. If my friend asks me to go, I'm gonna be like, yeah, like I want to experience. I think if you see a live artist in their environment, it doesn't even matter the genre. Like the moment, the chemistry, if it's all right, it can win you over. And I've seen so many artists that I would have like poo-pooed prior to going to see them, and then I left the experience like being a fan simply because it just captured me in the moment. You know?
I just went like the other weekend. I was at the World Pride in Washington,
Oh, good.
and it was so much fun. Like Jennifer
Yeah.
Lopez, Troy
Hmm.
Sivan, David
Yeah.
R. Chuleta, and oh my, it was such an amazing like everyone there. Paris Hilton even sang and everything, and it was
Was it live? Was it live? Was she live? Because if she was live, that was a once in a lifetime experience. Oh my goodness. I have a bunch of friends that went to World Pride. I was so jealous I couldn't go. I heard it was a wonderful experience. I love Jennifer Lopez. She gets too much like crap from people. I think that she's such a good live performer. And the
Yeah.
lineup was just awesome. So I'm so happy you got to experience that because I really wanted to go, especially this year. I was like, I need to go
Mhm.
protest and put my foot down. But with the premiere and everything, there was just no way. Like I was not able to enjoy anything.
Okay.
But I'm jealous of you. Just know it. That sounds like a great time.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And if you were gonna do a karaoke song, what do you think you would sing?
Oh my God, I do it all the time. I love karaoke. There's an array of different songs I'd like to bust out. Speaking of Kesha, I love to sing Praying by Kesha because it's so
Yeah,
dramatic.
yeah, yeah.
If I want to do something a little more fun, I do Mr. Brightside by The Killers. I don't know. It depends on what the drink is, honestly. Like, it could go in a lot of different directions. The other day I sang Trust Fall by Pink. Never thought I would sing that song ever, but I was wasted. The time was right.
Which usually your drink of choice?
Oh God. I mean, like I say Long Island, people are gonna be like, this guy is trash, but like I love a Long Island. I like a screwdriver. I don't know. Here's the thing is I'm not a huge drinker. I smoke a ton of weed. So I'm normally the one that's stoned in my social circle, along with a few others. My partner likes a cocktail. But if I'm gonna drink something, I'd want it to have a punch. So probably I'll say a Long Island for old time's
Okay.
sake.
What about food? Do you have like certain foods that you love to eat the most?
Oh my God, all of them. No, I'm an eater. Like I'm a big eater. Um, I love Italian. I mean, I don't know. My partner's from Brazil, so he's a really amazing cook, and he'll make like really great meats and everything. But
Ooh.
we've traveled to South America quite a bit, and the food there is just phenomenal. So I can get down with anything for the most part. Like you put food in front of me, I'm going to be fine. So yeah.
Any place you would love to travel to that you haven't seen?
Any place I'd like to go that I haven't seen.
Hmm.
I really want to go to Ireland. You know, I'm part Irish, so I've always just wanted to see like the rolling Irish hills, you know. But I don't know. I'd never traveled before being with my partner Gustavo, and I was even scared to get on an airplane. And really, like up to that point, I had flown once in my life,
Oh
and
wow.
and starting to date him, that really changed my life and got me to start traveling a lot more, which has really helped my film career, obviously. But
Yeah.
we've traveled a lot in the last 5 years. I've gotten to see a lot of the world, and that's been really amazing. So I'm someone who is kind of just down to go wherever. But I do think Ireland, just for like personal reasons,
Okay.
heritage would be
Yeah,
a wonderful
definitely.
experience. Yeah.
If you had a craving for like fast food, like what's your go to fast food spot?
Oh my God. If like I had them all lined up in front of me and I could pick one, probably like Chipotle. I worked
Yeah.
for Chipotle for years, so like I can't, I don't know. I trust it, I guess, compared to a lot of the other ones. Like I know what goes
All
into it.
right.
And like when my teens, I worked at Chipotle. I also love a Dairy Queen because I can't get enough of a Blizzard, so I'll throw those two out.
I love it. I love it. And I guess like the last thing I'll ask you is if there's anything coming up for you that you want to plug and any showings of meat and also where can fans follow you and also follow me.
Yeah, thank you. We just had our debut screening, our first public screening here in Cleveland. Um, and we're about to enter film festival phase. So right now I'm praying and holding my breath and praying to a God I don't believe in and just hoping that something comes from it. As soon as film festivals are announced, I will be announcing them on social media. So you can follow Meet the Movie on Instagram. You can follow me, the Scream Queer, on Instagram as well. That's really where I do most of my promo. But I'm on Facebook as well, with Beat the Movies official page, and I have my actor page there as well. So yeah, I mean, there's going to be a lot to announce in the coming weeks. This is literally like one of the first interviews I've gotten to do in general, just at the height of the excitement. And I feel like a month from now, I feel like so much is going to have come out about this that I'm really excited. So there's a lot of reason to pay attention right now because I really do think that Meat is about to do something big.
All right. Okay. Well, I'm really looking forward to seeing it.
As soon as I have a screener, I promise I'll get it to you.
Okay. Sweet. Sweet.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for this. It was very nice, like chatting. Thanks again for doing this.
Oh my gosh, thank you. Seriously, this was so fun and it was very laid back and I was like coming in so like prepared to be so stuffy. Like because like you never know like what the questions are gonna be like. So thank you so much for hosting a lovely dialogue about me and about my career. I appreciate it.
Of course, yes, yes. I always like to keep the interview like very like chill and laid back. Like I don't I see like a lot of interview shows where it seems like very like I don't know. I can't explain it. It just doesn't feel right. Like it feels too like work related and corporate it seems like I don't like those kind of things.
I agree. Nobody wants to listen to like people just droning on about things. They want to hear things that people are passionate about. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you giving me the chance to talk about my film because I am very passionate about it.
I could see that, yes.
Thank you.
Well, have an amazing night and thanks again.
You as well. Thank you again. Have a great one.
Bye.
Bye.